Hello and welcome to the first ever Unwanted Opinions podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm your host, Lewis Gibson, and I'm joined here with my good friend Kyle.
Hi there.
And my other wonderful friend, Gonzalo.
Hi there.
So, how you guys doing?
Good, yeah. Like I was saying, bit of a struggle getting the podcast up and going. Taking about an hour to get this started. First
technical difficulties, host difficulties,
everything difficulties. It's the first episode. It's always a struggle.
It's always going to be a struggle. But for the first episode, I thought it would be great to cover the Oscars.
Yeah, well, the nominations only came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Was it 2 weeks ago or was it last week?
I can't remember.
I can't even remember.
Time's gone.
Time is
the
flying
actual
by
event this year?
And we need to go over all these nominations, all the Best Picture nominations.
Yeah. We'll cover most categories.
Most categories, well, the major ones.
Yeah.
And
not saying that the other categories aren't good enough, but
no. So the first,
so much time.
So the first half, we're going to go over the Best Picture category, the most important category, of course.
Yeah.
And then we're going to run down 9 of the other major categories that we all kind of care about. And then afterwards, in the second half of the show, I think we're going to go over our own personal picks of the best of 2021.
Yeah. That sounds
Year
fantastic.
review sort of thing.
A year in review, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so we'll start with Best Picture then.
Yes, of course.
So this year, they did take up all 10 slots.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know, I was surprised they did actually.
There's quite a few out there. What do we? Well, how about I start by listing all 10 off,
okay.
And then you can kind of just go for a discussion. So the 10 movies that got nominated for Best Picture are Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, June, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. Overall, good selection there.
Yeah, it's better than some other years.
A lot of variety.
I'm not going to say I'm a fan of all of them.
No, we are definitely going to go into some.
The pals, right? There's a in there.
Yeah.
You've got like the classics, like a good classic biopic, King Richard.
Yeah.
You've also got like a sci-fi epic like June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually kind of the first thing. Good thing you pointed that out, actually, because that's what I was going to say. I think that's the first time in a long time there's actually a really big variety in genre and different types of films.
Even in directors.
I think they've done it. Sorry?
Even directors,
directors
like
as well.
the ethnic background of directors.
Course,
it's like,
they've actually done a good job of covering a bunch of genres and just kind of like mixing it up instead of just stale kind of Oscar bait stuff, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of jump right in. But anyway, we'll start with Gonzalo, because you've seen the least of these, haven't you?
Yes, I've managed to see 2 of them. One of them actually in cinemas. The other one binge-watched it real quick before the show.
So, do you want to give us one and to kind of just give a discussion?
Yeah, okay. Let's start with the one that most of our listeners will probably have seen, which is Villeneuve's Dune.
Good one.
That's true.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's kind of like not really a typical Oscar movie, let's face it. It's a sci-fi epic. But the way Villeneuve directs is always very kind of like grounded and dramatic and big, and it's very Oscar-y, so I understand why it's there, honestly. So what are you guys' opinions about like the film? What did you guys think?
Okay, you want to go first?
I mean, we didn't see June together, did we?
No, we didn't.
We didn't know.
We were meant to.
Oh, that's true.
But then you
I
had uni or something.
yeah, I loved June.
Yeah.
Now, I have seen the original
The 80s one.
80s one.
Yeah.
Cult classic.
Yeah, cult classic. And oh my god, this one did better.
Yeah.
I mean, you could only really go up from
Yeah.
June, from the 80s one.
You've read the book as well, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I listened and read it because they've made up a lot of words in that.
Yes.
But no, the film, the first thing I take away from it, and especially my dad takes away from it, because he's a huge Dune fan, is the sound.
Yes.
Which we'll get on to, obviously. But it is obviously nominated as well for Best Sound.
Oh, sound
But
design.
everything about that film, just the visuals, the storytelling. I mean, I was a bit confused why they didn't just announce it was a part 1 the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hid it. It was very
Yeah.
strange why they would hide that.
And then it was when the title came up, it was like, boom,
And
June part 1.
The part 1 comes in and like disappears in a second. It's like, June part 1.
Honestly, my
but-
brother that watched the entire movie and was shocked when it ended. He didn't even see the part one when the title came up. And again,
Because it was so quick.
yeah, it was so quick, and they hit it throughout all of the material. I thought it was just me who was dumb and hadn't noticed. Then I realized no, they just never mentioned it was a part one. I think they might have been scared that if it was a part one, the number of people going to see it might have been worse. With like the pandemic and everything, it's already like a struggle to get people in cinema. So maybe it was like
true.
a studio decision.
Kind of surprising that it was, made as much money as it did during the time it was released.
Yeah.
Especially that it was also released for free in America if you had HBO Max subscription.
Yeah.
But all I can say is when me and my dad came out of the theatre, we said to each other that, one, it's going to grab so much of the Oscars. We
Really?
Well, I thought, just
Right.
the visuals, I thought mainly, for me, I wasn't thinking Best Picture. I was thinking sets, costumes, sound, score, that kind of thing. To be honest, I was very, very surprised when they got Best Picture nomination.
Yeah, actually,
me
well,
too.
it's funny that you say that because I didn't think it would get much Oscar recognition. I thought I thought obviously it would get nominations and awards on the technical stuff.
That's what I thought. I thought technical. I wasn't thinking like acting or like Best Picture, like at all.
Yeah. Or even a screenplay one. I didn't think it would get that either. But I thought it'd be kind of like the Blade Runner 2049 again of this year because Villeneuve did that, and that got completely snubbed at the Oscars. That didn't get a nomination in Best Picture or Screenplay or anything like that. But they recognised this film at least. Maybe not his own talents, but we'll get onto that. But yeah, for me, I've already made a top 10 list of 2021. Dune was my number 7. I thought it was just a brilliant sci-fi epic.
Okay.
Something.
But not traditional sci-fi.
No, hard
definitely
sci-fi.
not. Hard sci-fi.
Definitely
It's
not.
very much a political religion story.
Yes.
Set in space. Which is why
It is the
when
kind of
I-
sci-fi that I like, because that's the reason sci-fi. What sci-fi is good as is just like taking issues from our day and our lives and just putting them somewhere else in order to analyze them through like a different lens. That's basically what it does best, and that's like you say, Kyle. It's a very like religious and political kind of film. A lot of
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Sorry.
last thing I'm going to say on it before we move to the second one is I wouldn't be surprised if not everybody loves it.
No.
Because it's not traditional sci-fi. Because people might go in expecting Star Wars. No, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on. Lewis, you wanted to choose...
Oh, what should we do next? I guess let's just go with Coda.
Okay.
Have you seen... You haven't seen Coda?
I have not seen Coda.
So
Haven't even seen
Coda
the trailer of Coda.
Yeah, so Coda, for everybody who listeners haven't seen it. Well, Coda, first of all, stands for Child of Deaf Adults.
Okay.
And it's an Apple TV exclusive. And the basic premise is that you have the main character whose name I can't remember, possibly Ruby.
I think it's Ruby.
I think it's Ruby. She is in a family of 4, and her mum, dad, and older brother are all deaf, and she was the only one born with hearing. Now, the general premise is that her dad and brother work on a fishing trawler sort of thing. She's out there every morning helping because she's the one who can communicate. She's the one who can hear the radios. But lo and behold, she discovers a passion for singing.
Yeah.
And, the hardships of her trying to pursue a career or going to college with singing over the hardships of dealing with her family who can't hear.
Yeah.
And I only watched this about a week ago. And Lewis had been hyping up's not the word.
Well, we'll get into my reasons in a second.
Overall, Lewis, what do you think about Coda?
Right, so every year there's every year there's a film that comes out that grabs critics and audiences and does really well in terms of all the buzz, and people are really raving about a certain film. And then me personally, I watch it and I go, I don't see it. And Coda is 100% that film this year.
Okay.
Coda, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's just such a middling, it's so average.
Yeah,
There's also a nice way to
there's
describe
also
it.
a very good thing because Lewis messaged me before I saw it and went, "Tell me what you think," because he'd been holding back a description of Coda for a while, and then 40 minutes into the film, and it's only about an hour 50. I messaged Lewis and went, "Why does this feel like High School Musical but revamped to try and be an Oscar film?" And then he went back with, "That's exactly what I was wanting to say to you."
That's what it is. It feels like a 2000s Disney film, and it's so frustrating. And mainly the frustration comes from the characters. I think the family.
They're all doing a good job. I have to admit, yes, they are.
They're all doing
Yeah,
good,
it's the
but
writing.
The
It's the
family
writing.
is just so infuriating and selfish and unlikable.
Oh, okay.
Did you not feel that way, Kel?
Oh
What did you
no,
think?
definitely. I mean, mainly, the mother.
Yes.
The mother. The best member of that family, I think, was the older brother.
The brother was actually really good, and but this is actually another problem with it. I know that I've just thought of it because there's a great scene between the brother and Ruby, in which there is a revelation, sort of why he's frustrated with her.
Yeah.
And then immediately in the next scene, it just forgets that happened, and we move on with the film.
It's just in the later part of the film.
It's
on the beach.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just they do these things, and the whole point is to kind of show how isolated the deaf community is, and how I guess they just kind of they're lonely and they have to, I guess, have their own personal struggles, and they can't communicate with everyone, and that is a frustrating thing in life.
Yeah,
and
of
obviously
course.
they're dealing with what do we do if our daughter goes away to university? Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to communicate with this town? But it just doesn't really demonstrate that in a very convincing way.
It's a very average film.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see why if that's your kind of film, like a nice simple drama, struggling people and revelations, I can see why people like it.
Yeah. Kind of glad I didn't watch it, honestly.
Parts of it. Yeah, I appreciate the parts of it.
Yeah.
I'll say the last third is actually quite good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I guess I think they use their sound well, and they.
That's the
have a really
thing I
good
wanted
scene
to ask
for
about,
at
because
the
like,
concert, sorry.
if it's a film about being deaf, like, did they do anything interesting with the sound design?
Well,
There's
one scene.
Yeah.
There's one scene where
Okay.
they mute everything to give you the appreciation, and it's when the daughter is singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So to give you to understand that the parents are kind of looking around, seeing everybody else's reactions to their daughter singing, and
they
trying
can't
to
actually
piece
hear
together,
her. Yeah, because
they're
like
trying
again,
to
the
piece together if their
premise.
daughter's good or not.
The premise sounds really good. The idea of like them trying to be supportive of her, but not being able to even appreciate.
They're not really supportive.
No, that's the main.
Okay.
It is adapted off the French version. When I kind of did some.
Is the
reading
French
around
movie
on
better?
IMDb,
It probably is.
a
isn't
lot.
it?
Yeah, a lot of the people who reviewed this one saying that the French one was far superior.
I mean, that's happened a lot, hasn't it? Though
I mean, it is.
it wouldn't be
that
the
Kevin
first
Hart.
time, would it?
What was that called again? It's an adaptation of The Untouchables.
Yeah, but I can't remember what
they
it was.
did.
Kevin Hart and Brian.
Yeah.
Wait, they
yeah.
did.
Anyway,
They did an adaptation as well of like the French Tourist or something like the really bad one about Venice.
Americans just like to adapt things. And
I don't.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
don't
I
understand that. That's just weird to me.
Just to kind of finish off with the character thing, there is a really. I would say it's quite manipulative actually the way they kind of do the selfish parents thing.
Yeah.
Because they make it so like they say a line, oh, what if she's terrible? Or something along those lines. What if you can't say?
It's not my favorite line in the film.
What are you talking?
My favorite line is when the Ruby says to her mum, I like to sing, and then her mum turns around and goes, "If I was blind, would you like to paint?" And I was just
that's a bit like Gino in This Morning.
Damn though.
Holy!
How are you supposed to like the mother after that? I mean, that's something you think, but not something you say.
No, but that's the point. They make them personally stupid. I guess they kind of like they don't consider the fact that my daughter's singing or she has a vocal coach.
So they concentrate more on the fact that they're deaf than the fact that they're her parents.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
That happens a lot, honestly, with the kind of Oscar baity movies where they just use disabilities or just some sort of like racial kind of difference and stuff to try to like create conflict. Where like they focus more on the fact that they are different rather than the fact that they're human beings. So you get non-characters where their only characteristic is their disability or like racial minority status. Yeah, I don't love it when
No,
that
yeah,
happens.
there's definitely Oscar films in the past that have done that, and this
Yeah.
kind of fits that mold, I think.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll
So this
wait
is the
for-
most Oscar-y movie that we've had so far. Then cool.
I guess.
We'll try and we'll fire through some. just
Okay,
for-
yeah.
for saving
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
West Side Story, obviously a Steven Spielberg film.
Yes.
Um,
I have issues with the fact
personally-
that movie was continued in production after the protagonist was accused of several.
Yes.
yeah, I was also.
Yeah.
Weirdly, you didn't know about it?
I didn't know. Well,
Yeah.
I only knew about it literally as like a week before I saw the
What's the actor's name again? Gonzalo. He's in
Ansel Elgort.
Thank you.
Yeah.
From Baby Driver.
Baby
Which
Driver,
is
yeah.
annoying to me because now there's two sexual predators in Baby Driver, which is a movie I really enjoyed before that. So yeah.
Yeah, Kevin.
Wait,
Kevin Spacey.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Gonzalo, have you seen the original West Side Story?
I have. I really like it.
You
The
have?
only bad
And
part
you like
about
it?
it is the whole casting white people as non-white people part.
Yes.
Which
Yes,
was a
that is,
very thing of the time.
that
So
is
I
quite
agree
bad.
with the fact
But,
that it needed a remake with non-white
Mm-hmm.
people as non-white. Yeah, it's that
Yeah.
part definitely needed some updating. But yeah, West Side Story is a film I grew up with. I grew up on like the big musicals. Not because they were of my age, but because my dad likes them. So, love the original West Side Story. Haven't had the chance to watch the new one yet.
Well, the thing is, right?
Yeah,
I went into West Side Story. I'd seen the original a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really expecting it to sort of kind of blow me away. But honestly,
it does.
I think it's better than the original.
Okay.
I
okay.
really do. And I wasn't expecting that at all. I just think this is Spielberg's best film in like 20 years. Genuinely.
Okay,
And it's
okay,
really annoying
yeah.
that Ansel Elgort is in the lead
Yeah,
role
yeah.
because it's a really goddamn good film.
Okay.
And
I was really
all the
surprised of the
choreography-
fact
sorry?
that I was really surprised that it got nominated. So I'm glad to hear that because for me it didn't seem like something that would be nominated for Best Picture. But the fact that you tell me that like
You thought it would?
I think
Yeah.
it would be. I thought it was really one of those films that was kind of aiming for Best Picture.
okay,
For me, it's just like the entire production, the choreography,
incredible. Right?
everyone
Okay.
is just amazing in their roles.
Okay.
It's just such. I don't know. I was
no,
completely
it's-
wrapped up in it, Kyle, and I know you were not as big a fan.
My issue is right, which to be honest, I've never seen the original. I've never seen the musical,
Yeah.
and I didn't know it was Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
a huge fan of the story of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, I said to Liz when we came out,
Yeah.
there's two things I hate in that film,
Yeah.
and it was the leads. Now looking back, I
Really?
actually liked the girl more.
Yeah.
I was. We'll get to the best
I
actress
really
thing.
didn't like Tony, but everything I loved about that film was every single character.
But that's
the
but
two
that's
leads,
the
the two
thing, yeah.
leads.
Like in the original one, it's kind of the same. The two leads have like the more kind of like melodramatic kind of stuff, and what
They
you
have the
enjoy is
fantasy
the
aspect
side
where
characters. Yeah,
In 24 hours, they're falling in love and
Yeah.
wanting to run away with it. Everybody else is quite sensible.
Yeah.
No, but it's because it's Romeo and Juliet.
I just don't
You have
like
the two warring
I-
houses.
but like
Oh,
for
I'm
me, that was part of the actual like at least as I understood it, like the film was just like trying to adapt Romeo. Well, the musical itself was trying to adapt Romeo and Juliet, but also comment on it. Like I don't think it was ever trying to say, "Hey, look at these great people with the fantastic idea of getting together and running away after meeting one time." I think it was more of the idea that because of the circumstances they were living under, the great amount of poverty that put two racial groups against each other for no apparent reason when they were both on the bottom of society, was the fact that didn't allow like just the whimsical stupidity of young people to even happen.
Yeah.
Like that, at least that was like kind of the message for me. But again, I haven't seen the film, so I should not be talking in
I
this
think,
segment.
Gonzalo, I think you will like it. I
Yeah,
really
okay,
do.
okay.
It is problematic that
yeah.
Elgort is in the lead role, and
Yeah.
that is frustrating.
Yeah.
But everything else outside of that
Okay.
is just the
I
cinematography, the
believe-
choreography is fantastic.
I
Okay.
believe it's coming to Disney Plus March 11th.
Is it?
Yes.
That's good
wow.
because
Okay.
I'm
It's
definitely
coming
gonna
to Disney Plus in
give it a
March.
watch
I
then.
don't know exactly
Okay.
what time.
Well, Gonzalo, you can watch it when we go over the winners.
Yeah, definitely.
um,
I'll watch it before, hopefully before the nominees.
The actual
happen.
award ceremony, yeah.
Right, we'll move on quickly.
So, there's one actually I noticed I didn't have on this list.
What?
Yeah.
Belfast.
Belfast.
So we'll quickly discuss Belfast.
Yes.
Well, Liz, what do you want to say about Belfast?
Well, I thought Belfast was just, the perfect word for it is delightful. It's delightful. No, it is. Even though it deals with, heavy political subject matter, as well as the story of just this kid trying to get through life. Buddy is living in Belfast, and pretty much the troubles are arising at this moment in time in 1969. And with that comes the problem of whether his family should move or stay in Belfast, or how are they going to survive in this sort of
environment,
climate.
Very good film. I loved it.
And you're a big fan.
Black and white. It's black and white, and it was just beautiful. That was our secret screening, wasn't it?
Yeah, me and Kyle got to see that a bit early, actually.
One of your
really
secret screenings. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought going into the Oscar nominations that Belfast was going to take it this year.
Yeah.
I just thought, because it's a personal story about director Kenneth Branagh's own life and growing up in Belfast, and it's just it's funny, it's sweet, it covers all bases. Audiences are loving it, critics are loving it. It's literally just one of those Best Picture nominees that just kind of everyone is all for. Everyone's liking it.
Yeah.
But we'll get into why it's not going to win.
Okay. We'll keep moving on.
We'll go to theories.
Do
you mind if I just do Licorice Pizza quickly?
Go Licorice Pizza.
So, because I'm the only one who's
Yes.
And Licorice Pizza's plot-wise, it's very, very simple. It's a summer in 1970s Los Angeles, and Gary, one day on doing a headshot, they're taking headshots because he's a child actor. And he then bumps into Alana, who's working at this photo shoot, and he's immediately, I love you, you're beautiful, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
That's Romeo and Juliet.
That's and then from then on, it kind of just follows Alana and Gary as they start like little businesses with him and his friends, and they go on all these antics and meet the weirdest people across LA. And well, I can't really get into why this film is a problem without me spoiling it, but I'll go over it, and hopefully I'll put time codes in.
My thought when it comes to spoilers is if knowing what's happening in a movie ruins your watch of the movie, then it wasn't that good to begin with. So no issue with spoilers.
We'll put time code in here, right? Because Licorice Pizza it's Paul Thomas Anderson, one of the great current directors and writers working in Hollywood. He's done There Will Be Blood, Phantom Thread, Boogie Nights, Punch Drunk Love, so many fantastic films.
Yeah.
And he made this film that pretty much 99% I was really into. I was really drawn into the 70s LA. I thought the comedy worked. The chemistry between Alana and Gary was great, but platonic, and that's very important.
Yes.
Because Gary, as a character, is 15, and Alana is 25.
Yeah, okay.
So, throughout the whole thing, it's a very platonic thing, and they make it a very clear point that they aren't dating or doing anything, because that would be very illegal.
Yeah. Of course. Also,
and the last scene
immoral.
of the film is them kissing.
No.
And it completely ruins
the entirety
all the
of
goodwill and all the fun and the whole dynamic of their relationship. And just at the last moment just takes that away.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about that film.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? And I was trying to look for other critical opinions and to see if anyone else had a problem with it. And really, all the critics are loving it. People are loving it. And I'm like, why? This is actually a really problematic ending that takes away a lot of the goodwill of the film.
Also, it kind of ruins the thing of the whole film is building up this platonic relationship. It kind of ruins it in the end with that.
It's not even that. It's like it would work if you just made them closer ages.
Yeah.
If you didn't make Gary 15, if you made him,
it's a 10-year gap.
Yes, it's a 10-year gap, and he's technically a child.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Also,
I'll just quickly say this as well
like,
because
it's
I was
talking
listening
like
to
I
another.
understand I understand talking about this topic if you actually have something to say, but like just giving a kiss at the end isn't really adding anything to like the conversation about anything of to do with this, you know? Like they're not saying, "Hey, this is wrong" or "this is complicated" or anything. They're just adding a kiss at the end and just leaving it there. It's kind of weird, honestly.
No, it's just not right, really, in my opinion. But what made it worse? And usually, I don't let other people's opinions or experience of films affect my own experience of films because you know that you shouldn't allow that to happen. But there was a call on another podcast, Mark Hamill's podcast, just to give him credit, where a writer, someone emailed in and basically said, this film is literally how to groom 101 because they were a victim of grooming. And they were like, this is exactly what happened to me. And it was horrible. Hated that film. That's what she was saying. She was like, had a panic attack in the cinema.
Yeah, I can understand.
Because she was like, this is verbatim pretty much what happened to me. And it's like, why would you put that kiss in at the end?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Well, we'll see how it does at the Oscars.
We'll see how it does. I don't think it's going to win Best Picture.
Well, Oscars have like a history of nominating pretty, let's just say, complicated films. So.
But we'll move on from that.
King Richard. I want to talk about King Richard.
Okay.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So King Richard is basically a biopic following Richard Williams, the father of Venus and Serena Williams, the two of the probably biggest tennis players of all time.
Yeah.
And it's basically his story.
How many Grand Slams does Serena have right now? Like, is it 28 or something?
Like, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's the story about him and his kind of passion to kind of get these girls to go pro.
Yeah.
And his like kind of story about how he planned everything out to a ridiculous point where he planned that Venus would go pro first, but then Serena would kind of
be the history's greatest.
By being in that line, you know, in the kind of shadow for a wee bit and then kind of coming out. Fantastic film. Everything about it is great. It's one of those like this classic biopic that you know we're going to do well.
Yeah.
Will Smith, we can briefly discuss. He is incredible.
Yeah, it's his best performance I think he's ever given.
Oh, exactly. You know, another Earth close second, but you know, this is just. But honestly, I can't stress it enough, and I don't know if we're going to discuss editing or not, but we can.
We'll get to. I think we'll get to that
briefly say, but the tennis shots, like some of the shots, the matches are incredible. But yeah, I just wanted to briefly mention that.
It's funny, right? Because I think biopics, sports biopics, music biopics, whatever biopics, is probably the genre I have the least amount of patience for. Because I just find them all unbelievably formulaic.
Yeah.
And there's a few biopics I really like because they don't follow the formula.
Yeah.
Like Eternity's Gate.
Oh, I really love the Elton John one.
Elton John.
Yeah,
that's great.
Really good.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, let's just forget about that. But King Richard follows a simple biopic formula.
Yeah.
But it is just really entertaining. And it has a great pace to it. And all the conflicts that come out of it are really... There's conflicts within the conflicts, in a sense, because the problems they have with their dad they kind of reflect on us. We kind of go, is what he's doing right? Is what he's doing... Because is he pushing them too far to make his own selfish image come true?
Yeah.
And it's so good that it kind of makes you involved in that and
so it kind of gets you on their perspective of whether like was he or was he not a good father because he's a complicated figure. Because if I understand correctly, Serena Williams had like a big hand in the production of this movie, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she's a producer.
Yeah
she is a producer. Yeah, she is. I did see her. I only watched that last week.
So it makes sense that she would want to put like she manages to make you feel the complicated relationship that they both have with their parents then.
No, I don't have any problems with being there.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid biopic and one that I was quite surprised by it because I genuinely was just I was just kind of seeing it for Will Smith, honestly. So I want to see his performance, and I was swept up in it. I liked it. Really solid film.
I was.
My brother was a big fan. Haven't seen this one, but my brother has, and he really liked it. He does like historical dramas and biopics and stuff way more than I do. But yeah, he also watched it for Will Smith and enjoyed it a lot. So yeah.
We'll quickly move on to. Let's talk about Drive My Car. Quickly.
Yes.
Yes, Drive My Car. One of the only ones that I've seen. I've seen that film here. Drive My Car is another surprise for me, actually. I really didn't expect it to be nominated for Best Picture. Sorry, I was just selfishly snatching the mic there. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, I really wasn't expecting it to be nominated at all. When I saw it, I was like, this is going to be a international feature nomination and win. I mean, this is a brilliant film. In my top 10 list of 2021, it was my second favorite film. Technically, would be number one because my number one came. Release dates are all messed up here.
Yeah, release dates are weird.
But Drive My Car follows the story of a playwright and director who is currently facing a sort of a problem in his marriage, and I don't really know how much to give away here. And
keep it brief.
I'll keep it brief. Okay, sorry.
Just a summary, just a setup.
He's kind of facing some issues with his marriage. Sorry.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, just wants a summary.
Yeah. Sorry. So he's having sort of troubles with his marriage that are shown very explicitly in the film. And he's kind of coming to a crisis of self.
Yeah.
And then he gets an opportunity to direct Uncle Vanya, which is a Chekhov play in Hiroshima.
Oh.
And so he goes off there and he's told, because one of his favorite things to do is to drive his car. And he does that so he can learn lines, like he records himself and his wife like doing dialogue back and forth so he can learn his lines. And that's his technique, yes. And so he's told when he gets to Hiroshima that you can't drive your car. He needs a driver. Yeah. And that's already throwing a spanner into his own personal routine. And through this sort of device and this very, I guess it's a really peaceful sort of therapeutic film that kind of goes through the importance of storytelling and guessing like our own connections with other people. And it's beautiful. I just loved it so much. I mean, when I saw it in cinema, I was just wrapped up in it. It's 3 hours long, but it just I was like in a dream state watching it. I just loved what it was saying about storytelling and just our own connections with, just sort of like people you don't expect to connect with, and through stories that we kind of delve into each other's own histories and pasts and sort of
it's a story about
uncover things
story.
about each other. Sorry?
It's a story about stories and how.
Yes, it's a story about stories, and it's just I loved it, and it's absolutely the one I want to win Best Picture. But, and actually, it's the first Japanese film ever to be nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, really? I was going to say.
Shockingly.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know.
There's not been a single other Japanese one. Yeah. Honestly, with a Korean film winning, with a Korean film winning, like was it last year or the year before that?
Parasite 2019.
Parasite 2019. Yeah.
There's still like there's hope, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
I don't. We'll get into why. I don't think it's gonna win, but
we'll move on to. I think we'll leave the one that's going to win to last.
Okay. Yes. Good point.
And we'll discuss the one that I personally don't understand why it's on this list.
Yes.
Don't Look Up.
Okay.
So Don't Look Up was Netflix original.
Yep.
Directed by Adam McKay. Wrote it as well.
Yep.
He wrote it with somebody else, but I can't remember who he wrote it with.
No, I don't know.
And Don't Look Up is a story basically about two scientists played by Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence who discover that this asteroid is going to come to Earth and blow everything up. And it's basically then trying to grab the attention of the government and the media. Yeah. And it's not going well, and it's all this kind of stuff. I have an interesting perspective on this because I love Adam McKay.
Yeah, you're a big fanboy.
I love him to bits. One of my favorite films is Vice, which was 27.
Which I wasn't actually that big into.
I know I wasn't big into. But
I like Big Short a lot more, but
Yeah. Oh, I love The Big Short as well.
Yeah.
But for me, this film felt like. So that if I take Adam McKay for example, you've got two sides to him. You've got his comedies, Anchorman.
Yeah.
The other guys.
Step Brothers.
He did Step Brothers.
Yeah. And then you've got his kind of serious ones, like The Big Short and Vice.
Yeah.
What he's done here, he's tried to blend them. And for me, I just don't think it's done that well.
Worked.
I think he wanted to make a story about how the media and everybody doesn't really take things seriously.
Global warming.
Global warming.
Yeah, it's very clear a metaphor for that.
He didn't have a true story to use.
So
he made one up.
So, like, does it go to... Because, like, with his comedies, Adam McKay, like, it's all very surreal. Like, his comedies are just very, like, absurdist in a very intense way. Like...
Yeah, this is an absurd comedy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
Do you want me to go into what I think of it?
Sure.
Okay, so I was dreading watching Don't Look Up. Yeah. Honestly, I'd seen the trailers. I thought this looks obnoxious and annoying, and I get it. Like, I know exactly what you're commenting on.
You heard my opinions of it.
I heard Kel's opinions. Actually, Kel, you're not alone. Everyone who I know who's seen it has been like, it's fine. Yeah. Or
did the sound person give it 6 out of 10?
No, they did not. Yeah, I don't think they've seen it. You know, everyone's like, yeah, I get it. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, whatever. It's just a middling film.
Yeah.
And so I just watched it because obviously it was up for Best Picture. Yeah. So I put it on last week and I was like, right, here we go. I'm going to hate this. And I quite liked it. Yeah. Actually, to preface this though, I don't think it should be up for Best Picture. I think it is still a very flawed film. But all the social commentary it was saying about global warming and the thing about how the media loves to sugarcoat everything and how people can't concentrate on one thing for 2 minutes, and the greed of capitalism and government basically. I was kind of wrapped up in it. You know, I thought it was quite funny, even though I thought it'd be obnoxiously so. I thought Leo was good in it. I thought the majority of the cast was very good, except I do have a problem with the Mark Rylance character and Jonah Hill. Yeah, because like we were saying, it is an absurdist. I guess it's riding the line between going, Step Brothers and still kind of being like Vice, where that's a bit more serious but dark comedy. But Mark Rylance and Jonah Hill, I think, just took it too far. I just think Jonah Hill's just being Jonah Hill, like in This Is the End or something. Mark Rylance is a cartoon character. Like it's too far.
Too much.
I do think also it's too long. I think you could have cut half an hour off this film easily.
Okay. How long is it?
It's 2 hours 20.
2 hours 20. That's pretty honest.
I mean, the film should have ended at a certain point as well.
And then
I
won't go into that.
Yeah.
They go into the stupid thing. Anyway.
Yeah. That's interesting though, because my dad was a really big fan of this film. He really, really liked it. But when I told him he was nominated for an Oscar, he said that's not an Oscar film. So like, even though he's a really big fan,
respect that man's opinion.
He's been telling me a lot to watch it. He's been pestering me about it. But when I told him, he said that's not an Oscar film.
I think what it is, it's like every year there's a film that gets nominated that is, I guess, not subtle to say the least. It's politically and socially very clear what it's trying to say, and there's other films that are nominated that do it much, more sophisticated.
Like a 13-year-old.
And this year, it's Don't Look Up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
that's next one.
So we'll move on to the last one.
Yes.
No, we've got Nightmare Alley and
Nightmare Alley.
Two.
We'll move to the second last one.
Okay. Yeah.
Nightmare Alley.
Yeah.
Yes. I've actually watched this one. Yeah.
Yes, you've watched this one. So, do you want to go over the plot, and then I want to hear what Gonzalo says about it.
I have strong opinions about this film.
So Nightmare Alley is directed by
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
I'll say it because you guys can't pronounce it. Guillermo del Toro.
I'll just watch it. I think it stars Bradley Cooper as this character who basically, from the start, you think he's left home due to his family member, his father dying, and he joins.
Well, you say that, but I instantly, as soon as I saw him burying a body and burning a house, thought he murdered someone. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I gave hope to the character. I don't want to judge straight away. So he joins the circus, and he then kind of starts learning the tricks of the trade of, what would you say the skill is?
What's like a con, basically?
Manipulation.
There's
Yeah, con man,
skills.
manipulation.
Manipulation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's able to start reading people to be able to go, you lost
It's called cold
family
reading.
member in the past.
Yeah.
And it's basically it's a story of him rising, and then it's a story of him falling.
Yes, it's a tragedy.
It's a tragedy, and personally, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
You know what? Me too, Kyle.
Okay.
But
I did
Gonzalo's
not.
different here, so I want to hear.
Okay, I love Guillermo del Toro. Big fan of his films. He does amazing work. I love when he blends reality and fantasy in great ways. Great stuff. I did not like this movie. From the midpoint, I think I realized it was based on a book just by watching it.
Yeah, it's based off a book, and there's an original 40s film as well.
It feels very much like one of those old-fashioned movies I used to watch. They just put on TV. That was 3 hours of the American West and the story about a man and stuff. It feels very dragged out for me. There's a big time jump in the middle of the film, and I breathed a sigh of relief when it happened. So the thing for me is it's a very clear-cut story. From the beginning, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it didn't really drive me to that place. It frustrated me to that place. It just dragged me kicking to that place. I saw he was rising, and he kept being given advice by everyone around him of what not to do. And as soon as his hubris starts getting too big and he starts falling, he starts doing literally exactly the things that people told him not to do. And that for me was incredibly frustrating, to the point where I was watching this at night. My sister was literally asleep. I woke her up several times by just screaming, "Oh, don't do that," to the screen. So that's how this movie felt to me. In terms of the actual quality of the filmmaking, it's really good. It's visually really intriguing. I really like the texture it has. I love the old transitions. It's a really small thing, but having the actual physical wipes, really nice. Don't know if they actually did them with CGI, but I think they're actual physical wipes. Anyways, not going to get into that. Really nice looking film. The acting was brilliant. But again, I felt like it was too obvious what was going to happen. And that's nothing bad. I don't mind films being predictable. It's just they have to make me want to see what's make me want to be part of the story, and I just wanted it to end because I knew exactly how it was going to end, and I just wanted it to end. I'm glad they didn't kill the love interest for no reason at all. But
I'd seen the original before this one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, and pretty much 20 minutes in, I was I was like, okay, they're following this one pretty much to what pretty faithfully.
Yeah.
But for me, I was just sucked in, but purely on that technical basis. It was just this really gloomy, seedy, sort of horrible nightmare kind of going on. And Del Toro's, excellent at that.
He's
sort
really
of stuff.
good. Yeah.
And for me, I don't know what it was I did a short review of it, and I did say that it was Del Toro's sort of the way he directs this and the classic noir mold that he follows, because I like a lot of noir stuff. That kind of, pulled me in. And I do actually, they did change the ending a bit in this one, and I think they changed it for the better. The last shot and the last, dialogue exchange is just great.
Yeah.
I just love, I love a classic tragedy. I'm a sick guy. I like a fall from grace.
Again, I like that part. I have no issue with that. But for me, it's the entirety of the film is trying to pull me in, and the actions of the main character are just pushing me away. You never get in his head, so you never understand why he makes such obviously terrible decisions, aside from the part that, when his mentor tells him, people like us who have suffered abuse, we have a hole in ourselves that we can never fill. And it's I get that. That's, it feels by the numbers. The protagonist feels to me by the numbers. Everyone else in the story I cared more about than the protagonist. And for me, good tragedy...
The protagonist is a bad man.
He's a bad man,
he really
but there are
He's a bastard.
He's a complete bastard. But there are bastards that you root for, and this was not one of them. I wasn't all like I wasn't rooting for him or against him. I was just apathetic towards him. Every time the storytelling would pull me in, and the actual like visuals, because again, beautiful film, like beautiful film. I love how Del Toro keeps like just wallowing on the cringy aspects of everything with the camera work and just the tones that it has. It really pulls you to like the 30s depression kind of era that they're living in, the pre-war. It's beautiful, but every time I got pulled in, the actions of the character pushed me away by just being just incredibly like, I don't know, it didn't feel like the character was a character, and I don't know if it has something to do with the acting, but I did not enjoy it. It just kept pushing me out, and then I was like, okay, what's next? I know this. Just keep going. Just finish already. But again, every one of the supporting characters for me felt great, and I really liked them. The ambience was fantastic. I was disappointed. I was very disappointed, and I do not understand why it's an Oscar-nominated film.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I actually
Yeah.
didn't expect it to get a Best Picture nomination.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a Best Picture film for me. I don't know if I would replace it with another 2021 film.
Yeah.
I mean, I may say differently when I start reading my list. But yeah, I'm not disappointed to see. I'm not annoyed to see it.
No.
There.
Yeah.
I know it feels more like a filler.
You think?
The list.
On the list.
Yeah.
It covers the genres.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we get something different.
But anyway, we'll move on to the last and likely
Yeah.
Best Picture winner. Yeah.
Best Picture winner, The Power of the Dog.
Yeah.
Yes, another Netflix
Not many dogs in this. But, you know, an incredible film.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely incredible. Basic premise is Benedict Cumberbatch stars as a rapture in 1912, 1950, no, 1925. 1925.
Oh, get your dates on my
Right, yeah, no. 1925, Western America,
Yeah.
I guess.
That's Montana, I think. Or at least it was filmed in Montana. It was
One of the
filmed-
other times.
While the cities are going full on Great Gatsby, there's still cowboys all around. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's basically, how would you explain the plot?
Well,
it's quite hard for me to explain.
I get from the get-go, Phil and what's his brother's name?
He only calls him Fatso, and that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah. He calls him Fatso. So basically, him and his brother are already at odds, and that's pretty much from the get-go. There's something not right in their relationship, and we can see Benedict Cumberbatch's Phil as this nasty, mean, kind of just despicable kind of man, and from there we can understand where there's been this divide in their relationship. But then, God, I need to remember this guy's name.
the brother.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons. I'll call him Jesse Plemons. Jesse Plemons falls for God, I need to know the character names for this. Rose.
George.
Thank you.
Phil and George, and he falls for Rose.
Yeah. So yeah, George falls for this for Rose, who's runs this tavern, I guess.
Yeah.
Where all the ranchers go after their day.
Yeah.
And from there on, the divide between the two brothers goes even further. There's this whole question of what power is here, who has control over who, and then there's Rose's son who gets involved in the plot, and that adds a whole other dynamic to the film. And I just loved Power of the Dog. I thought Power of the Dog was just... It's one of those films that really frustrates me that it's on Netflix, though, because it deserves to be seen in the cinema.
Well, that's the thing. The other thing I would say about the issue of being on Netflix, it's really pay attention to detail.
It's one of those films.
And I knew that my dad fell for it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't pay enough attention. He didn't realise the story.
Yeah, he did.
Because it's a Netflix film. And that Netflix films give you more leeway to not fully focus because you're in your home environment.
Yeah, because they take into
And
account
I
that
really
there's
had
a
to-
smaller screen normally. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, a great example to briefly point out was The Irishman, which we were very lucky to see in cinema because
Yeah.
that was 3 hours.
3.5.
Yeah, 3.5. But The Power of the Dog, incredible film. Visually stunning.
Oh, beautiful.
Every single one of the cast was
Does a terrific
fantastic
job.
in their role.
Yeah.
And
That's 4 nominations for the cast.
and I'm not. I don't want to spoil anything about the story
Yeah.
because it is one of these films that, for me, the last frame made me want to rewatch it.
Yeah, the ending changes the interpretation of what's just happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really like. It's a film that I said how Coda was a manipulative early on in a bad sense because it's just like it's stupid what they do, and it's forcing the characters to fit this mold so that later on they can have a revelation and be like, we didn't know this the entire time, even though you could have just talked. Anyway, this one manipulates you, and every character in the film is being manipulated to an extent, and what is
so by the end of the film,
who's
like
really in control here, and I just loved that. I guess we're kind of being gaslit to an extent, as well as some of the characters.
That's good.
And
that's good.
who's right, who's wrong.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
No, I mean, definitely, I think it's going to win.
I think it's going to win.
So this is your guys' guess for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Power of the Dog. Okay, that would be a great feather in Netflix's cap, honestly. And I am not surprised that they just basically campaigned a lot to for these two films. They got two films this year. Netflix films.
Yeah, they've got two in there. Don't look up, sir.
Oh. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was all 10 of the best.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get through that.
Take about an hour.
Okay.
I suggest you want to skim through the other categories.
Yes. Let's do a rundown of like the major categories and like what the actual stuff is there.
We'll go through each major category and then we'll basically say who's going to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, don't quote us on that.
Our guesses. Yeah. I really hope that I manage to get this edited and up way before the Oscars, because otherwise this is gonna be really bad.
Right, so we've got Kenneth Branagh for Belfast. We've got Rizuki Hamaguchi.
Director.
Oh, sorry, yes, for best director. I've just gone straight in. Kenneth Branagh for Belfast.
Yeah.
We've got Rizuki Hamaguchi for Drive My Car.
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza. Jane Campion for Power of the Dog. And Steven Spielberg for West Side Story.
So, quickly,
yeah,
who do you want to win and who do you think is going to win?
Well, see, I said to you I wanted Hamaguchi to win simply because I loved Drive My Car so much.
Yeah.
But I actually think, in terms of direction, I think Jane Campion did a better job in direction. And it's because of that, the way she uses the small details and the editing to manipulate your own understanding of what's going on.
So, like, as a craft, you think she had a bigger challenge and impact on the actual film? Okay, that's interesting.
Absolutely. And
you, Kyle?
Who do you want to win?
I actually want Kenneth Branagh to win because the story's so personal to himself.
Yeah.
But I do think Jane Campion is going to win.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I am good with anyone winning except Kenneth Branagh, because I do not personally like him. I have something against him. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I don't like Kenneth
the
Branagh.
first 4 films.
No, but honestly,
we'll move on to that. Yeah, so that's best director. We'll move on to best actor.
Best actor, okay.
So I'll quickly go through it.
Yeah.
So we have Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Yeah.
So, who do you want to win, Cal?
And do you know what? A part of me actually wants Andrew Garfield to win.
Oh,
I really enjoy Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying it would be nominated for Best Picture.
No.
Wait, did you see Tick Tick Boom?
I haven't. No, that's the thing.
You haven't? Oh, Gonzalo, man.
Guys, the movies I watched this year were the 2021 movies. I am behind really big. I am still catching up.
Just to quickly say about Tick Tick Boom, I actually thought Lin-Manuel Miranda's directorial debut.
Yeah, incredible.
He did a great job, I thought. Great first effort. I loved how it's just a weird. I can't really even explain how they go into the storytelling of this film.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not going to bother. But I will say Andrew Garfield did a terrific job.
Yeah.
It's a very, big showy performance.
Yeah, heavy.
But it works for the character
That's
he's
good.
playing.
That's good.
For me, honestly, everyone's great. I mean, for me, actually, Javier Bardem, I'd probably kick out and put someone else in simply because You know how I said I hated biopics?
You did not like.
Yeah.
And the genre, as a genre,
The thing though, I'm
Being
happy
Ricardo's
that
is the
he's
exact
there.
reason why I hate it.
I am happy with
It's
that he's
so
there
formulated, you can
because
tell.
both Javier Bardem and damn it, what's her name? This is terrible. God damn it, the other Spanish lady. Oh my god.
But yeah, I think
Penelope
Will Smith's
Cruz.
year.
Yeah, Penelope Cruz and
I-
Javier Bardem are both in like the Best Actor, Best Actress nominations this
Yes.
year, and it's the first time ever you've had two Spanish actors be nominated for both Best Actor things. So that makes me happy, and that's the only
But
reason.
also, there's a slight problem because Javier Bardem's meant to be playing a Puerto Rican man.
Yeah, which is
It's one of those things.
It's one of those things.
But yeah, I'll quickly say Will Smith, I think, is having it this year.
I think Will Smith will have.
You think Will Smith's got it? Yeah.
I think he'll have it. I want Andrew to win, but I think it's Will Smith.
I think it's deservedly. Well, actually, all of them are great.
Yeah.
Best actress. I'll quickly say. So we have Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer.
Right.
Ooh.
I've seen only one of these films, so I would have to say Kristen Stewart for Spencer.
What about you, Gonzalo?
I have no idea. I haven't seen any
Wonderful.
of these films because I am really prepared for these things. You, Lewis?
Well, just give me your quick.
I guess the only one I've not seen is Eyes of Tammy Faye. But honestly, you know what's a really big surprise this year? All of those nominees, none of them are nominated for the BAFTA for Best Actress. It's a completely different list. The whole actress race this year has been different across the board. It's so bizarre.
Who won for Best Actress in the BAFTAs?
Oh, it's not happened yet, but the nomination list
Oh,
is
it's not
all the nominees, 6 of them in that list, all completely different.
Oh,
It's very strange. But for me, I want Kristen Stewart to win it. I really do.
okay.
I think her turn as Diana was brilliant. And that's another biopic that twists the formula because it's not really a biopic. It's just a character study.
Yeah.
Psychological, dreamy, strange film that I really did love.
My mum really enjoyed that one, so I'm gonna go with Kristen Stewart as well.
Sorry?
I'll go with Kristen Stewart as well because my mum enjoyed that one.
I think Olivia Colman might take it though because
Yeah.
The Lost Daughter, she's absolutely brilliant in it. She is really, and I don't know who's going to win it. Honestly, I don't know.
We'll see, and we'll hope. Gonna go for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, so we got Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Coates for Coda, Jesse Plemons for Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos, shouldn't be nominated, and Cody Schmidt-McPhee for The Power of the Dog.
So we know your opinions, Lewis.
So I mean, this one I don't really feel there's like one that's like really jumping out there who's going to win it.
Yeah.
I want Cody Smith-McPhee to win it. with Power
I
of the
think
Dog.
it is. I think it's his.
There's one on here that I would switch, and it's Troy Coaster for Coda. Because he's the dad.
You want him to win?
No, he's the dad in Coda.
Yeah.
I'd have given it to the brother.
I agree.
Because I think the brother did a better performance in the film.
See, it's one of these things where I can't see, because I think the Oscars recently likes to give all the Best Picture nominees at least a win in another category.
Yeah,
if
I was
they're
going
not
to
gonna
say,
win Best Picture.
yeah. I was going to say, because they kind of
And-
like compensate, you know.
And I can't see Coda winning in anything else, so I could see them giving it to Troy simply
just
for
to-
that. But also, Cody was so good and so, just strange, and I loved his character in Power of the Dog. So for
Honestly,
me,
if
Cody
like
as
Power of the
well.
Dog gets it, like they might give him, they might also give the movie the supporting actor as well, right?
yeah, and 2 nominations in
Yeah.
there. So.
Yeah. I mean, do we go Best Supporting Actress as well?
Best Supporting Actress. So we got Jessie Buckley for The Lost Daughter, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Judi Dench for Belfast, Kristen Dunst, Power of the Dog, and I don't know how to pronounce Anjuanu Ellis for King Richard.
Ariana DeBose for
Yep.
West Side Story.
She's won it.
That's it. She's won it.
It's that simple.
I'm 98% certain she'll win it.
She was absolutely terrific. She was such, just what a find, what a talent, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple. We're going to pick one. Best Film Editing. Trick that Lewis taught me years ago.
It's a very important trick. So, if your Best Picture nominee isn't up for Best Editing, then 95% of the time it's not winning Best Picture. There's been a few occasions, I
okay.
think 8 times a Best Picture has won, and it hasn't been up for editing.
Out of 94.
Out of 94, 93. But one of those was Birdman, which doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
As it was a one
yeah,
shot.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a one-shot film.
There was two edits in that movie.
There's kind of a cheat code here, and Power of the Dog is also the only film that has a director nomination as well as an editing and Best
one.
Picture.
Okay, yeah.
So they've kind of shown their hand a little bit here.
Yeah.
But we'll go through the list. So,
Yeah.
Don't Look Up,
Hmm.
June, King Richard, Power of the Dog, and Tick Tick Boom.
Yes, they usually love to give the editing Oscar to a film that has very showy editing rather than ones that you don't notice.
Yeah,
Tick
yeah.
Tick Boom, you think it's got it.
I think it's got, because it does some incredible scenes where it kind of jumps between the musical aspect and then the kind of real life aspect. It's just it's a beautifully edited film.
Yeah.
That, and like I said, the tennis scenes from King Richard are quite good, but they're more subtle.
Yeah.
I think it's a two-horse race. Actually, I think it's closer than you might think to Tick Tick Boom and King Richard.
Yeah.
Also,
just because
honestly, the editing in Dune, like, you don't notice it, but
you don't notice it.
It's very powerfully done because the way they hold shots sometimes longer than it's comfortable. Like, that's the thing I noticed in that film that really shocked me, and it's the way the editing is done. So, like, honestly, I think it's a closer race than other years we've had. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've said I want to win Tick Tick Boom. I'd love to get a bit of love. You know,
Yeah,
I like that film quite a bit.
they do like their showy editing.
Power of the
though.
Dog as well. Brilliant editing.
But anyway, we'll go on to Best Cinematography.
Right.
Which we have June, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. June.
Yeah, probably June.
I mean, yeah.
But I've also said that any of them
are beautiful films. I've not seen Tragedy of Macbeth, but
I haven't. No.
Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story are beautiful films.
I mean, you did mention that a big part of the West Side Story was the cinematography that you enjoyed. So honestly,
yeah, I think all of them are just so well shot. You could genuinely give it to any of them, and I wouldn't really have any complaints. Macbeth is also; these are also all the same in production design, all the same nominees.
Okay.
But I kind of want them to give some love to Macbeth in the production design, because that made like a timeless adaptation of Macbeth through its production design, cinematography. Really, really thought that was a beautiful aesthetic that film had. But I do think it's June.
Okay.
Do we want to continue, or do you want to quickly go over snubs and then go into the 2021 lists?
Yeah. Let's go with snubs.
Do you want to cover screenplay quickly?
Do you want to do screenplay? Okay.
Yeah.
So, best original screenplay, we have Belfast, Don't Look Up, Licorice Pizza, King Richard, and The Worst Person in the World.
I know a film that hasn't been released here yet in the UK.
Has it not?
No, we get it in
well,
March. So
grand.
annoying.
Belfast.
Yeah, I agree. I think Belfast got it. I think that's going to be its only award.
Thinks to be its only award.
Only award of the night.
If it gets one, I'm happy.
And it's because it's a personal story. I think they're going to give him that screenplay one.
Probably would be.
Okay. Quickly moving on. Coda. Best adapted screenplay.
Yeah.
We have Coda, Drive My Car, June, The Lost Daughter, and The Power of the Dog. The Power of the Dog a book?
That is a book.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
This is a tough one, I think, actually. I think it's a two-horse race between Drive My Car and Power of the Dog.
Yeah?
Yeah. I could see them give it to Drive My Car because it's much more dialogue-heavy than Power of the Dog.
But it depends, though.
I think they kind of want to give credit to the story as well as just giving it a Best International Oscar, which is going to get that. So, tough one. I actually can't really decide.
Honestly, it's a question of whether, like, the original book of Power of the Dog had that same manipulative aspect from the because having adapted that feeling feels to me a lot harder. I don't think Dune should get it. I do not think Dune should get it. Honestly, I think
there's better films.
It's
when it comes to an adaptation, it's not that. Like, it's not that it's a bad adaptation. I just don't think it does anything interesting with the adaptive part of the adaptation.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, I think that's most of the categories we're going to cover.
Yeah.
I think Lewis wanted to talk a couple of
Snubs.
notes about some snubs.
Yes. Lewis,
Maybe
you
not
have seen
snubs.
you have seen every film that came out this year, so please tell us.
Yeah, we have seen most of. I mean, apart from Best Supporting Actor not going to Jared Leto for the
Yeah.
say.
Please don't talk about that.
No. I think there is one film that I brought this up with Liz and he agreed with me.
Yeah.
I thought should have been in Best Picture. And I think you know someone to talk about it. I think we're talking about it.
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Mass.
Oh my god, man!
Here starts the rant.
So-
Go.
I guess I'll quickly go over Mass because if that film was released in 2021 for us, we got it in January this year, but that would have been a number 1 or 2 film for me of last year.
Yeah.
Because this film, so Mass, right? I'm going on the surface. It seems like a film. Why the hell would you watch that? That sounds horrible.
It's a very hard hitting subject.
Yeah. So it's about 2 couples who it all takes place in one room.
Yeah.
2 couples go into this room that's on the side of a church.
Yeah.
And they go in and they share in their own personal experiences how they lost their sons in a school shooting.
Oh.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, leave it there.
I'm going to leave it there because there's
Very powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've been in a cinema for a long time where every single person has cried.
Oh damn.
yeah, it was,
Like,
everyone cried at a different moment.
completely
Honestly,
honest, you know, incredible. And I'm very upset it did not get Best Picture.
I'm annoyed. Also, the acting.
Oh,
They
the
could
acting is
easily kicked
fantastic.
out one
Honestly,
nominee.
If anybody can get to Sky Cinema,
Mhm.
where it's kind of premiering, I would watch this film. It is incredible.
I mean,
It seems like a very
also one of those-
heavy,
sorry?
it seems like a very heavy acting one as well. Like,
that's why I
Yes,
yeah,
it's a hugely heavy subject.
yeah.
But it just works.
it works. It's so unbelievably entertaining as well. And that seems a bit strange to say for something with that sort of subject matter.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's
what it
also
delves
interesting that it
into-
didn't, because they do really love their play kind of movies for the Oscars, the ones that
That's the
take
thing.
place in a very limited
I
kind
don't
of
think-
space and stuff.
I don't think this works as well if it's a play.
Yeah.
No.
Because just see the editing. Even that should be on for best editing.
Yeah.
Damn. And the way it keeps it, moving and interesting in
Even
such
though
a
you're static.
seemingly
Yeah.
boring white-walled room.
Yeah.
All the actors I would have given a nomination. Give it a Best Picture nomination. It's dealing with extremely contemporary issues.
Yeah, yeah.
And ones that I kind of also love how it doesn't really have an answer to the issues in it either.
Yes, no.
Yeah,
They
it's
bring
not
up a lot of
pushing
issues,
a
but they
specific-
never give an answer.
Yeah.
They give their opinions, but they never give an answer.
But it's constantly thought provoking. It's wonderful. Honestly, see Ma wherever you are. Yeah, brilliant film.
Fantastic. Wait, that's the Oscars roundup.
Yep.
Done. So we're going to briefly talk for the last wee bit about our personal favourites of 2021.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It was a good year.
Great year.
Great year for cinema.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a couple that I want to talk
Yeah.
about. I don't know if I'm going to go for my number one, because there's one that I Lewis will know for a long time was number one on my list.
Yeah.
And then I kind of rehashed.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills.
Yes.
Halloween Kills, where everybody wanted
He
to
was
know.
waiting to do that joke for
It
ages.
was the worst film of 2021 in my book.
Yep.
It's
Worse
annoying because
than
you
Venom,
really
Let There Be
enjoyed the
Carnage.
last one, didn't you?
Oh, I loved the last one.
Yeah.
Last one's solid.
The last one's solid. 2018's Halloween,
Yeah.
fantastic. Halloween Kills, awful. No, but on the horror genre,
Yeah.
Candyman.
You loved Candyman.
I loved Candyman. Now,
That's another remake.
yeah, well, no.
a
So,
sequel.
yeah, so weirdly enough, I was like to Liz, I've not
Yeah.
seen the original Candyman. Do I need to watch it? And he went, I don't think so, but just watch it in case.
Yeah.
Very glad I did, because it is really a direct sequel.
Okay,
Yeah, it
because I was
deals with
gonna
a lot
say,
of
I
the-
know,
the big
I've watched the original Candyman. I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be a remake. That's interesting.
No,
No,
it's a direct sequel.
I guess soft reboot.
Yeah.
You could say soft people.
Kind of
but
like
it's a sequel.
Halloween
Yeah.
was to like the original, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, I would say it like that. It's
Yeah.
very much the kind of similar kind of feel. I loved it. It was also, the good thing about it is it was short. In a sense, it was 90 minutes,
Short
but
and
it
sweet.
got everything done.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's been out, but I don't want to spoil it too much. I know there's one scene in it that kind of ruins it for Lewis.
Yeah, it kind of takes something away.
But 98% of it is incredible. The acting's incredible. The kind of the message, the underlying tones of it is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It was really one of the films that I was not expecting
Yeah, to enjoy
to
as much.
love,
Yeah.
but it was there.
Yeah, great pick actually. I mean, I actually really, really liked Candyman, but I guess, like you said, did have a gripe with it that kind of takes away from
We can maybe mention it if we do like a horror
Yeah,
episode.
I would love to go into it at one
Yeah.
time. But
What was yours?
I was going to ask Gonzalo.
Gonzalo. Sorry,
like
what was yours?
So my issue is I've been basically catching up on a bunch of movies, and I don't know which ones were released on 2021 and which ones were 2020, and it's a big old mess. But
if you're gonna say Titanic, you're 3 years out.
No, I was gonna say having actually checked your website reminded me, Lewis, about a bunch of films that I wanted to watch when I saw them come out, and again, with everything that's been going on, completely forgot about. And one of those that was really, really impactful and I absolutely adored this year was The Green Knight.
Oh, love The Green Knight.
Don't know if it came out 2020.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, it probably came out 2020, didn't it?
It was a 2021.
Okay, good. That's one that, again, it made, I don't know, it's a really slow movie, but it never felt slow to me. It absolutely.
I
mean, it is quite slow when it comes to come on, compare it to other types of films. Not a lot happens in the amount of time that it takes in,
Maybe I guess in the editing, it's not it's not.
But it doesn't feel slow. It feels contemplative. It feels insightful, and it's one of those films that I'm still thinking about after having watched it.
I never actually went into visual effects, but see The Green Knight, it was made for $15 million. Really? And the visual effects are absolutely brilliant.
That is incredible.
So much better than
we didn't have a great film that have extremely large budgets.
Yeah.
But it seemed to have very bad CGI.
Yeah.
The problem with that, I'm absolutely no, it's not even time. It's a question of the directors working through the film, knowing about visual effects or not. Because the thing with visual effects, they're not magic. It takes a long time to do things, and there's a way of doing it to make it easier for the post-production crew. There's ways of shooting things with having those kind of things in mind. Again, it is kind of a question in time. If you had infinite time, then you could do anything. But directors that work with visual effects, that don't understand visual effects, make it way harder for any sort of visual effects houses to actually get those things done in post-production, So then it's a question of, we only have this amount of time, and this is a really hard shot to do because you haven't given us anything. So it means that it looks like crap, no matter how much they pay, And for me, that's the thing with lower budget directors. I believe the director of Green Knight did a bunch of indie stuff way before, and it shows. It really shows. They know how to use the limited amount of resources they have in a proper way. There's a lot of thought put into every shot, so I'm sure they actually gave a lot of what the VFX people needed, because VFX in that movie are glorious. Oh my god.
I mean, I too would have given it a Best Picture nomination.
I would have given that. Yeah, I thought it was I thought it was a 2020 movie. That's why it wasn't.
No,
then that is definitely a snubbed film for me. Definitely over Nightmare Alley, by a long shot.
Yeah.
There's one film that I'm just going to quickly suggest.
Yeah.
I kind of now think about why didn't it get Best Picture.
What?
Bond.
No, I love No Time to Die.
I know.
I love that film.
I just think about it. Surely that would have been quite a runner for Best Picture.
I have issues with it because I didn't love it as much.
It's not really.
I mean,
you didn't love it.
I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. I didn't hate it, but
see, I went in not expecting to like it because I just saw Spectre.
Yeah. Spectre's terrible.
I came out going, that was incredible.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was an honorable mention in my top 10 of 2021. And same with West Side Story, to be fair.
I really liked what they did with.
I loved it.
I really like what they did with the plot. I just really don't like the villain. I think that was a waste of a villain.
See, that's the thing for me. I genuinely couldn't care less about the villain, because for me, it's not about the villain at all.
I know,
but in recent years.
I know, but at the same time, the fact that the villain was even in there bothered me. I don't know why. It's just, there's something about it that just feels a bit bloated, because the actual point of the film was something, and then there was a lot of classical Bondy stuff kind of muddling the point of the film for me. So, for me, it was too Bond to be good, if that makes any sense. But at the same time, it was trying not to be Bond, and he was trying to question all the tropes and years of just baggage that the actual Bond movies have. And that part I absolutely loved and appreciated a lot in the writing. I don't know. It felt subversive, but like it was still dragging the corpse of just like Bond behind it. You know, it's very graphic.
I think it's a brilliantly, I guess, emotional blockbuster is what I'd describe it as.
Yeah.
It's something that takes its characters and takes what it's saying very seriously, but also having very, impeccably well shot and real.
Definitely.
I'm going to, because that's really important to me. Real looking action sequences.
Yes,
phenomenal.
they do.
But I guess I can see why it wouldn't be nominated for Best Picture, even though I think it's literally everything a blockbuster film should be.
Yeah.
Wait. Moving on. Your best pick of 2021.
Yeah.
What my favorite film was.
Yeah, Lewis. Yeah.
We've gone for our two. I think it's fair to you.
Well, because I said in my list it was Sound of Metal.
Yeah.
But that technically was a Best Picture nominee.
Well, they need to be your best because technically, Candyman wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, it was my top
Another
one.
one,
It was a standout one for me.
Exactly. Green Knight wasn't
I'm
my
gonna say
favorite.
one-
It's just I just really, really was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
It's actually got a lot of love at the BAFTAs, and so is the lead actress. And it's this film called Afterlove. And Afterlove is basically about this woman who's just lost her husband, and after his death has suddenly found out he lived a completely different life to what she knew. And what's the actress's name again? Just trying to think. Joanna Scanlon, I think, should have got a Best Actress nomination because she is so brilliant in this film, and it's a film that kind of makes you question about, do you actually know the closest person to you?
Yeah.
How well do you actually know someone, and the effects of these revelations, how that would cause, I guess, a mental, fracturing in someone once they find out these revelations that they just cannot believe is true.
Yeah.
And it's brief as well. I think it's only like 110 minutes.
Okay.
And it's very character focused, and it's just, I just loved it. I was a complete surprise for me. I went in because it got some good reviews, and I was like, you know what, this sounds quite interesting. And I was floored. Loved it. It was what I gave my number 10 to.
Yeah.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, I mean, that's about everything.
Yeah, that's covered a lot of ground here.
Heck yeah. Well, Lewis, do you want to plug anything? I know this is going on.
Do I want to plug anything?
I mean, this is going on your website, right?
Yeah, just my website,
Yeah,
I guess.
okay,
That's all I can plug. I've got no sponsors, sadly. Yet.
Not this episode, yes.
But I guess if you wanna see some reviews of mine, or stay in the pop culture loop. Thank you, Kyle. Go visit unwantedopinions.net, my own personal website that I just do for fun, just to sort of speak my mind on films because I'm obnoxious, I guess. But
you gotta tell
I just want to
someone.
thank my. Oh, sorry, what?
You gotta tell someone.
Yeah, I gotta get out of there. Right, so I just want to thank you guys, Gonzalo and Kyle. Thanks for being with me here, and I hope to do this again next week.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll hopefully have some sort of social media that can cut
Yes.
the links out.
Absolutely.
We still gotta
obviously
set
don't know
things
when
up.
this is going out yet,
Yeah.
so we need to figure that out. But no,
This is a rough pilot, I guess. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you next time.
thank you.
Bye.